Have you ever had a relationship or a season where you've just begun to feel stuck? You've felt yourself feeling unfulfilled in the depth of connection, or maybe like your relationship or marriage has just lost its spark. Here's the deal. I have absolutely been there, where I just begun to feel a little unfulfilled and like, is there more to this, or is this just really as good as it gets? Now, I know so often we can turn to simply just wanting to critique the other person and make judgments about how they could do things differently so that we would have a better connection and relationship. But here's the sad truth. Maybe a hard pill to swallow, but so often it's not actually the other person's problem. We, me, you are often the reason that we don't actually feel fulfilled in our relationships. I know. I had to learn a few things along the way to actually make the adjustments in my relationships, in my life, to actually begin to feel fulfilled, to feel like I have that deep connection and depth of relationship that I was created for. If you are new here, my name is Allie Valentin, and I love a good, honest, real conversation on the internet about things like life, relationships, biblical womanhood. And so if that or any of those are topics that you're interested in, I would encourage you to click subscribe and join us on the journey of discovering how to do these things really well. In today's video, I am going to share 3 keys, 3 insights in how to build the relationships that you actually dream and desire of. How to build deeper connection in your marriage, in your friendship. This is all out of, me, myself, having to go on the journey of becoming a better person. Yep, here's the deal. I wanted for a very long time to simply just blame my husband for all the things that I was not happy with in our marriage. I wanted to accuse him of being the problem. And this isn't to say that often they play a role. That's 100% valid and often plays a part as well, right? Relationship is a two-way street. But so often, the reason that we actually begin to feel unfulfilled is that we stop making ground, is that you personally just become apathetic. You just accept the fact that your relationship is what it is and that you're just gonna have to live with this level of connection and love and intimacy, and you're just going to let it be. When we settle for that is when we grow frustrated. Because here's the deal. Relationship is a two-way street. You hold keys, you hold power to make adjustments in your relationship that will set you both up for success, that will build a relationship that you've actually been created for. This isn't to say that if you're in some level of a dysfunctional relationship to just simply disregard everything that person's doing. No, but I am here to say that there are adjustments that you can make personally that will set up your relationship, that will actually cause the other person to make adjustments. Not because I'm going to share some magic potion with you, or I'm going to tell you how you can manipulate the other person into being a different person and showing up differently in your relationship, but because so often it's when we make adjustments on the inside, when we begin to make changes, that it actually shifts things in our relationship that causes the other person to shift as well. Let's jump into these 3 keys that will cause a deeper level of connection and depth of your relationship. Without further ado, key number 1 for you, I know it might sound a little cheesy, that is love. Now here's the deal. I am not talking about that kind of love that we often see reflected in the world today. I am not talking about love that has this selfish sort of need and is simply based on pleasure or personal gratification. I am talking about the kind of love that we find in 1 Corinthians 13, right? It's that love that is actually selfless. It's not self-seeking. It doesn't have a selfish ambition, but it is all about serving the other person. It is a sacrificial kind of love. It requires a level of humility that other kinds of love simply just don't have. See, the first step to actually building a level of connection that you dream of in your relationship is letting go of your pride and embracing humility. That's the type of love I'm talking about, that has self-control, that is filled with patience and kindness and goodness, that it doesn't seek anger easily. This is the kind of love that will be a key to shifting your relationship. Now, hear me out. I understand that different types of relationship have different types of love and depth of love that you'll carry for them, right? Like the way I love my husband is absolutely going to be different than the way I love my friend or my sister, and that's good. You should have different levels of love for a person. But I'm simply talking about the fact that all those types of love must be filled with humility. These other two tips that I'm about to share with you, if this type of love isn't the cornerstone, these other two tips will simply be a discord. They will actually disrupt and rob your relationship, not be a benefit and a blessing. So if you don't have this hat on, if you don't carry this lens of love that is filled with humility, that embraces the fact that you might not have it all figured out, you're not a perfect person, and there are things that you are doing to disrupt the relationship, that you carry a level of responsibility, then you will not actually be able to benefit your relationship. Okay, so take that type of love that I'm talking about and let's jump into tip number 2. This key for you is necessary. In order to have a healthy relationship, to build deeper connection, you need to have self-dignity. If you do not value yourself, if you do not respect yourself, it will harm your relationship. Sometimes we think that showing up selflessly, where we just bow to our own personal needs and desires, will build some level of real connection in our relationship. But here's the sad reality. When we let go of the value that we have for ourselves, so does the other person. Not having self-dignity doesn't cause the other person to want to respect you more. Here's the truth. In order to actually have respect in your relationship, you need to have value for yourself. When my husband and I first got married, I felt like it was just important to let go of any of that pride. You know, I don't need to stir the pot and have a big opinion or have a big voice about things, because you know what? If I've made a mistake, he should be able to voice his frustration and I should just be able to take it. But rather what that did is it just allowed my husband to bulldoze over me. It just allowed him to speak to me in any which way, and often even would cause further disconnection because he would seemingly give me the silent treatment or just grow distant. But when I actually began to grow in respect and self-dignity, I actually began to put up boundaries and would communicate, hey, it's actually not okay for you to speak to me that way. Can you find a different way to communicate with me? Can you find a different way to voice your frustration? Because this just isn't respectful. This is actually hurtful for me. See, at first this was a little challenging because I was learning to communicate in a different way, and he was learning that there were certain boundary lines that he didn't have before. But you know what those actually did in our relationship? They actually built safety. They actually built ways for us to be able to connect. Things that are valuable have security systems. They have walls and gates and lines. They have rules to abide by. We ourselves have to have those, not out of control, but out of value for ourselves. This next tip, this next key for you is necessary. And that is that you have to have desires. I'm not talking about selfish desires, self-seeking desires. I'm talking about the fact that you have to have personal interests, things that you want, places you want to go, things you want to accomplish and achieve. If you lay down all of your own dreams and desires for the other person, you will just be swallowed up in their world and unfulfilled. Because here's the truth. When you have a personal desire and you allow the other person to fulfill that, to meet that need for you, that is what builds a healthy relationship. But if you just let go of everything that you've ever wanted, if you just let go of all of your desires because you're just so selfless and you just lay everything down for this other person, you will ultimately begin to feel unfulfilled. And honestly, so will they. When I let go of all of my personal wants, it didn't allow him to show up in ways for me that would be fulfilling for him. It didn't actually allow me to feel loved by my husband. But when I had a need and I allowed my husband to fulfill it, I actually watched a level of connection in our relationship like I had never seen before. Now, here's the thing. You might feel actually a bit out of touch with what your personal needs are, with what your personal desires are. Take some time and figure out what those are. It might be that in your friendship, you do deep, intense conversations really well. You guys have a depth that you're able to go to, but you don't actually have this need being fulfilled that you have to have fun and lighthearted and be childlike. So you need to express to your friend like, hey, maybe we could do something occasionally that's just fun. Like, let's go to the beach. Let's go see a movie. Let's cook a meal together. We don't always need to sit down and have an intense cup of coffee conversation and dig up all our childhood trauma and talk about the pains and woes of life. But let's just laugh. That is a need that needs to be fulfilled. It's allowing the other person to show up for you in a way that is actually going to be fulfilling for you because you feel loved, but actually is a way for them to show up for you that nobody else gets to, that will be fulfilling for them as well. This will build deeper connection in your relationship. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, that's a lot of information, I'm aware, but thank you for tuning in today. If this was at all helpful, will you just leave me a little comment below and let me know, or give this video a like? And I actually have some exciting news for you. I have recently launched this really amazing 6-week mentorship program. It's called the Truly Living Mentorship. It's where I am helping young women step into the life they've always dreamed of and begin to feel alive in the fullness of who they've been created to be. So if you are hungry to step more into your God-given identity, if you are eager to break cycles of shame and pain and feel powerful in the life that you're living, if you are hungry to go deeper and get unstuck in the places that have felt limiting in your life, then click the link in the description and schedule your free discovery call. This 6-week mentorship is starting on April 22nd. I would absolutely love to see you there. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you need anything answered in regards to the Truly Living Mentorship. I would be absolutely thrilled to chat further with you. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for tuning in, and like always, have a beautiful rest of your week. I will see you all next time.